Hey, how's it going, YouTube? How y'all doing today? As I was walking over here, I took a mental note of this grass right now. It looks like the average size of this grass right now is about 3 to 4 inches. If I was going to take if I was just going to say the average height of this grass right now across this entire field as I walked over here is about 3 or 4 inches. As just an average on this field. Yesterday I was going to feed grain. Okay, so yesterday I started realizing I'm having bloating problems on these cattle. These cattle are eating way too much grass, and the grass is coming in hot. I just fertilized it. The grass is coming in hot. This guy actually right here, he had a big old gas bubble on him yesterday. I remember at about 4 o'clock yesterday. Oh, at about maybe it was 3:30 or so. Oh, this guy was laying, just laying around. And I was like, that's strange. They should be eating grass right now. But he was just laying around. And so I was like, oh, well, I remember I took mental note of it. And then I just moved on. Then later that evening, when it was time to feed grain, I was going to feed them grain to get them back over here on this pasture. This guy stood back up. Then I realized what was happening was that he had a big old gas bubble on his left side right here. It wasn't a huge gas bubble. There was a gas bubble there, and he was panting. He was like, I had 3 animals. When I realized that was happening with him, I just took mental note. I took a look at my other animals to see what was going on. I had 3 animals that were panting like they were gasping for air, and they had a real big gut on them. The bloating, it was enough bloating going on to be able to see that it was happening. It was just okay. So when bloating gets real severe, these animals will actually fall over. They'll fall over, then they'll be immobile. If it gets to that point, though, that's a real big problem. Bloating, there are a lot of things that happen before that, because that is like terminal bloating. That's like the animal's about to die type of bloating. This guy, he was laying around, he was panting. Then when he stood up, I realized that he had a huge old, big old gas bubble on him. And so this grass, I mean, like when I pull up it's maybe the grass is about 3-4 inches tall right now. When grass is 3-4 inches tall, these animals can eat it, zero issue. So yep, the grass is tall. The grass is growing in a lot of grass. I don't know if it's easy to see on camera, but just a lot of grass, a lot of grass, just everywhere. And so the conditions are fantastic for growing grass. These animals, this grass is growing in way faster than these animals can eat it. It's also growing in it's growing in very hot. So these cattle are actually having I counted 3 animals yesterday that were bloating, and so got to keep an eye on that. That's also one of my. I was like, I'd like to have a cross fence back there, because if I ever saw this happening again, I just gotta, sometimes just lock them away so that they have to just sit around for a few hours, and they can eat as much as they want afterwards. Because bloating is a severe health risk for these cattle. If bloating gets real bad, that's a pretty severe health risk. And so, oh, my little well, it looks like she's actually having difficulty digesting this grass a little bit. She's my smallest animal. So her manure, she just dropped this. It's coming out like in clumps. So she's having trouble digesting this grass, but she's my smallest animal. I'll have to keep an eye on her. I think she's having difficulty growing too. So I may have to. Well, okay. So this animal, she's bonded real well with this animal right here. How they're standing right next to each other. So if I lock her up front, they'll stand at the gate, just looking at each other. They won't go anywhere. They'll just stand there looking at each other. So I have to take them both. If I'm going to separate them, or if I'm going to put one of them up front, I need to put them both up front, or they'll just stand at that gate looking at each other. They won't do anything. And so, yep. And this guy, he doesn't get along with Slowpoke. So, actually, she doesn't either. They'll both hit Slowpoke with their heads. So that's but I got to see what I can do for them. These animals are on this grass, so a lot of grass on this field. A lot of grass. Grass is growing in way faster than these animals can eat it. I probably, if I was going to graze this much grass right now, I would probably need closer to 60 animals on this field. 50 animals or so at this size. But yep, I mean, that's gonna cost a lot of money. And yep, I'd rather just leave it as it is. Then if there's any excess grass left over, I could well, I'm just gonna till it for nitrogen fertilizer, just because there's so much weeds. There's so many weeds on this grass. It wouldn't be worth much to me as a silage. I'm going to till it in as nitrogen fertilizer. I'll make a majority of the money that I'll make a good bit of my money back on what it cost me. It cost me almost like $500 to do this year. But I also spent another like $350 last year on grass seed to do this. So in total, this grass cost me almost $850 in 6 months. And so, yep. I mean, okay. I do also get and then I also had to spend about $150 on herbicide, and then I herbicided it twice. So, I mean, I spent close to like $1,200 doing this. This used to be just a huge patch of weeds, and then so yeah, I spent almost like $1,200 in like 6 months. So it cost me almost $200 a month to grow this grass for these animals. But in return, what I got a buffet for these animals, right? These animals could eat as much as they want. I'm seeing signs of that just because these animals are bloating. So here's another close view of the grass. It's about 3-4 inches tall. I know it's hard to see on camera when I'm up here like this, but the grass is about 3-4 inches tall. It's growing in faster than these animals can eat it. It's growing in hot too. It's putting a lot of weight on these animals. They got big old hay bellies on them, so it's putting a lot of weight on these animals, which is good. Yep. I would, well, I'm seriously considering just harvesting animals here. My big thing about harvesting animals here is that I believe that it would put less stress on these animals. I believe that it would give them a better life. I just got to, yep, I just gotta do it right. It'll give them a better life, which will make me happier. I would much rather just have them here and, yep, have them live their whole life here. That would make me feel better about raising these animals, even if it ends how it does. I mean, it just is what it is, right? I mean, yep. I mean, it's just how it is, you know. So, yep. I got a tractor that I'm gonna go look at this Wednesday. It's a dually tractor. I'm gonna ask them how many hours are on this tractor, but it's got a freshly rebuilt engine on it. They showed me the receipts of they put a new clutch in it. They worked on the engine, so if they put a new clutch in it, the only thing I really gotta worry about is to check to make sure that the engine's doing okay. And they told me that it's not having any smoke issues, it's not having any blow by or anything like that. So. Yep, yeah, they showed me a receipt for it, that they put a new clutch in it and everything. They got it done at a shop. Hey, these animals are putting on good size. They were just eating all day. So that's also kind of a problem. That's also one big reason that I'd like to have a cross fence put up, because sometimes these animals need to stop eating, or that bloating will happen. They'll just eat all day. They'll literally eat grass all day, and then by the time the day is over, 10% of my herd is starting to show first signs of bloating. So yep, I mean, yeah, if I had that cross fence, I could take them off of this grass a couple hours a day as necessary, because there's just way too much grass growing in right now. Yep, here pretty soon, in about 2.5 3 weeks, it'll be time to drill sedan grass. I'm gonna go take a look at that dually tractor here this Wednesday. The man wants I think it's like a 12,000 for, but I'm also reminding myself that, you know, like, I actually looked up this specific tractor, the name of the tractor, and I looked it up on the internet, and within 100 miles of me, there's a handful of these tractors for sale, relatively similar models or identical models for sale. So if this tractor and they're all about the same price, anywhere from about $8,000 to $12,000. And so, and when they're in good condition, they'll cost about $8,000 to $12,000. So I'm just, you know, like, I'm gonna go take a good hard look at this tractor. I need to make sure that this tractor is a good one. I need to be able to run it for at least 2 years. I figure I'm gonna put about at most, I'll probably put at absolute most, it's probably going to be about 500 hours a year. More than likely, it'll be about 250 hours a year. And so I ain't going to be running the tractor into the ground or anything, but I need to make sure that it works, because I'll be needing it for hay equipment. I also mentally, I really thought about this. I was just sitting there thinking about this whole tractor situation. When I really consider it, you know, it's like, how many people do I know looking for a 150 horsepower dually tractor used? When I think about that, very few people. Then when I think about how many of those people who are actually looking for a 150 horsepower dually tractor have $10,000 to put into it, it's even fewer people, far fewer people. Because the big thing about farming is that, well, I mean, just realistically think about it. How many people do I know that are looking for a 150 horsepower dually tractor? Zero. How many people do I know from, like, even if they were looking for it, how many people would I know have $10,000? Zero. I mean, it really is like that. So I was thinking about this tractor, and I was like, man, if I get this tractor, I need to either make money with it, or I need to file it for grant money, because my chance of reselling it are practically zero. I mean, how many people do I know that would realistically be looking to buy a tractor like that? I don't know anybody, not a single person. And then it's like, also think about how many people have $10,000. Practically nobody. I mean, I mean, it is what it is. And so, yep, when I think about buying this tractor, it's like, I need to either make money with it, or I need to file it for a grant, because my chance of reselling it is practically zero. It's the same thing with baling equipment. With, like, these balers, these big old round balers, the machine that bales hay. It's like, you know, selling a used baler I mean, good luck with that. Because, I mean, who do I know looking for a baler right now? Nobody. I mean, like, I'm the only person that I know that actually is even looking for a baler. I'm the only person that I know who's looking for a dually tractor. I'm the only person, you know, I mean, the thing about farming, okay, is that a lot of, like, farming, man, when I think about it, I don't really even know anybody my age trying to be a farmer. Like, in person, I don't know anybody. I'm the only person that I know my age looking to be a farmer. But it's also very it's very difficult to convince somebody who's like 30 that they should to go and learn about real estate, to go learn about farming, to go learn about animal husbandry, then to do all that, then risk hundreds of thousands of dollars, risk, $50,000 into making $10,000 a year. It's like, oh my God, if you learn about all these different things, then you go and take loans, then buy yourself a piece of property, buy yourself a 10-acre piece of property. You can make yourself $12,000 a year, and almost nobody will take that. Even at 50 acres, if that goes up to $60,000, $70,000, almost nobody will do it. I mean, because ultimately nowadays, a lot of people, it's like, oh my God, I can make $50,000-$60,000 working in a building with air conditioning, and I wouldn't have to, deal with animals or have to deal with chemicals, or, the convincing somebody to be a farmer is very, very difficult. I'm the only person that I know personally at my age looking to be a farmer. Personally, in real life, I'm the only person that I know, like, legitimately looking to be a farmer. But it is what it is, so long story short, if I'm going to buy baling equipment, if I'm going to buy this tractor, I need to buy good baling equipment. One, because the chance of me reselling it is practically zero. Number two, it's the same thing with the tractor. I need to buy a decent tractor that I can run for at least 2 years to file for a government grant, or I need to be able to run the machine to make a return on it, because my chance of reselling it is practically zero. These tractors, who's gonna buy them, right? Practically nobody. The chance of me selling it is almost zero. So, what does it matter if I have the payments finished, right? If I have the payments finished, let's say I take a $12,000 loan, I buy a dually tractor. Let's say I take a 2-year loan for it. In 2 years, I've paid it off. That's $500 a month if it was 0% interest. Let's say in 2 years I pay it off and it's finished. If I have nobody to sell it to, well, then I'm the one holding the tractor. Even if I don't have a payment on it, so I need to make a return on the tractor. So the tractor needs to keep running. So that tractor, I need to be able to make a return on it. So I need to make sure that it's a working tractor. That's it for me today, YouTube. Y'all have a good one.